Hey, we are recording. All right. Welcome everyone to the final Dev Roundtable of 2023. Thank you all for joining us here today from the Shade Contributor Set. Thank you to everyone listening in after the fact, listening in on YouTube. We're incredibly excited to be able to be here with you guys today and talk about kind of the journey that Shade Protocol has had over the past year. Um, it Things move so quickly in this industry, it's almost difficult to do like a full year long retrospective, but we wanted to make sure that people realize the amount of work and the amount of hours and the amount of blood, sweat, and tears that have gone into building Shade Protocol into what it's where it's at now, and then kind of give you guys an idea of what's coming in the future. um, so to kind of kick this off, I want to give a brief retrospective of like some of the high level achievements that Shade Protocol has been able to hit this past year, and we'll dive into a little bit of the specifics for each one of these. But going back to the beginning of the year, it's crazy to think about this. At the beginning of the year, we hosted our largest incentivized testnet that we've done to date, testing out Shade Swap and Shade Lend, both before they went live on mainnet. During that time, we saw, I believe, close to somewhere between 4 and 5,000 unique individuals participate in our incentivized testnet, with close to 10,000 submissions of feedback during that process. And because of that, we were able to launch Shade Swap and Shade Lend in a really, really solid place. We were able to make all the necessary tweaks, UI UX tweaks, be able to make any necessary changes to smart contracts to fix any bugs. And we're really appreciative of all the help that we received from our community during that time period. And then, next thing that we did was actually launch Shade Swap and Shade Lend at the end of April. Um, and following that, we continued the expansion of new pools that are supported on Shade Swap. We continued the expansion of new vaults on Shade Lend that allow people to borrow Silk against other collateral assets. Um, Pretty soon after we launched Shade Swap and Shade Lend, we successfully participated in Hack Secret 2023. This is a hackathon that Secret Network um, Secret Network hosted, and actually we received one of our ongoing grant projects is actually a product of that hackathon, and we're really excited to give you guys more information about that in just a little bit. That is the liquidity order book that was the ongoing grant project that resulted from this hackathon. Um, we've also during this time launched mobile support for the D app. We've got almost the entire D app supported on mobile now. There's a few more page views that we're working on finalizing, but we're really excited to get those final page views out to everyone. Um, Also, during that time, we've launched support for multiple wallets, including multiple EVM wallets. And I think it's also important to note that we were the first non-EVM DApp in the Cosmos to launch support for native MetaMask, or like native MetaMask integration. So users don't need to use MetaMask snaps in order to integrate or to interact with any of the Shade Protocol DApps. You can use it with your native MetaMask, and that's been really, really important for the onboarding of Ethereum users and Ethereum assets into private DeFi. Um, During this time, we've also been integrating with other DApps, integrating with other aggregator services. Some of those are going to be coming to full fruition at the end of the year, so we're really excited to get some of those integrations out there. Um, we've successfully participated in multiple protocol-owned liquidity deals, the first of which was with MantaDAO from the Kujira community. Since then, we've participated in POL deals with Fina Cash. We've participated in POL deals with Composable Finance, and we're currently in the process of closing out a few other POL deals that we'll get Carter to touch on here in just a few minutes. Um, Also during that time, I know it's a exhaustive list, but it's been a year of consistent building. Um, We've also launched new bridge expansion for Ethereum. So we launched kind of what we're dubbing Bridge V2, and that incorporated the utility of our fee grant, and also just complete overhaul of the tracking of bridging transactions from Ethereum. And it's obviously I'm biased and we're biased, but still think this is the best ETH bridge that exists in the Cosmos. So huge shout out to the contributors that helped put that together. Yeah, and to round the year out, we recently launched Shade.js, which is an open source SDK for interacting with the Shade Protocol smart contracts, which has been really, really influential, even in the month or so that it's been launched, and being able to help accelerate the timeline for integrations with Shade Protocol products. And really excited to have Austin talk a little bit about that. And then to kind of round the year out, we're going to be looking to launch our new API on testnet and get it on mainnet soon after that. And this is going to be a really big milestone for Shade Protocol, as this is going to help us accelerate our own internal timelines for being able to launch new products as well as updates to existing products. So, like a somewhat quick recap of some of our big milestones. But I want to take a few minutes to ask a few of you guys here some details about some of these milestones, because they're really, really important. And I don't want the value of these to get lost on people just because I, kind of blew past them in this. So from the perspective of, I guess we can kind of kick this off with, let's kick this off with POL deals. Carter, if you want to start here. Obviously, with Shade Protocol, we have Shade Swap. Shade Swap provides incentives to various pools, but we're also exploring other avenues to be able to acquire TVL for people to swap with without incurring the traditional cost that comes with incentivizing these pools. So I don't know if you want to give any sort of recap on like the logic here and what we're looking to continue doing with POL deals moving forward.
Yes, I'll do that in a moment. I want to mention 4 other things that I think are worth mentioning in the year really quick. One was Shade staking, which I don't know if we mentioned. Another one was migration to SNP25 tokens, which even though SNP25s maybe aren't as hardened as they want to be, as we want them to be, we know that like we have the ability to continue to improve the underlying privacy of the tokens. I think that was another big moment. Migration to real yield for staking, I think, was another like really big pivotal moment for the protocol. And then I am blanking on the 4th. There was definitely a 4th, but just wanted to briefly answer this.
The airdrop is done. That's another
airdrop is done. Yes. Holy smoke. 638 days, I think was the number, something crazy like that. So on the liquidity deals, I think essentially like the paradigm today is protocols have a lot of their own token, but having a lot of your own token isn't useful. In order to make a market, you need some other token that's traded so that people can, trade across it. And you can create a good experience in terms of accessibility. And the model to date has been, incentivize people to bring some external mercenary capital to bring that other token and match it with your Gov token. And now you have a market to trade across. And I really think the model that we're proving out is really different than this. What we're kind of recognizing is that what if the protocols themselves team up to make markets? Why are we spending emissions on external third parties that aren't as like long-term aligned with each other as protocols and with themselves? So we're closing these protocol liquidity deals with other protocols, and I think it's going to prove to be the most sustainable way to bootstrap markets in a way that doesn't involve mercenary capital. And so we've closed this. I think you already mentioned one with with Finna, with Picasso, and we just had our Stride proposal pass on chain as well. So the Shade Stride pool is going to be bootstrapped up to like $100,000, which will be huge. And then I think there's other pools in the works tied to like Kujira. Archway is essentially confirmed at this point. You can expect like a Shade Arch pool on Shade Swap. And yeah, from our perspective, like we just want to work with the protocols themselves and expand the accessibility of their tokens. We all benefit by working together as opposed to third parties that have different incentives than the protocol themselves do. So I think the best way we could probably recall it as just like protocol aligned liquidity bootstrapping, something on the lines of that. And it's going to be really cool to see in 2024 as we continue to follow this thread. How powerful is this mechanism? It remains to be seen.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. And yeah, I would just echo what you said. When we think about the alignment for the alignment between protocols is um, generally going to be greater than that alignment between your user base who could be mercenary or they could be protocol aligned. But it's almost guaranteed that the time horizon for protocols is much more aligned than that of users. Um, the time horizon that people are looking to interact with DeFi opportunities is generally much lower than the time horizon that we expect a protocol to exist in general. So yeah, completely agree there. So I think next where we can kind of shift this to is I want to shift it to Austin. As we're working on increasing all this liquidity for various pools on ShadeSwap, as we're looking to expand accepted collateral for borrowing Silk, we're going to have a lot more projects in the Cosmos. Well, also as projects continue to launch in the Cosmos, we're going to have more and more people looking to be able to tap into those sources of liquidity, tap into the utility offered by the Shade dApps to be able to provide more complex solutions for people outside of Secret Network. Like if you're not coming necessarily to Secret Network or the Shade Protocol interface to interact with them. So I think this would be a good place for you to kind of touch on like what is Shade JS if people haven't heard about it, and what is the impact? Like what do you feel the impact is of launching this? Looking a bit forward into the future.
Yeah, absolutely. So Shade.js was, I think, one of our big accomplishments this year, and it's something I've worked on and been really excited about. And basically, the idea here is we wanted to provide some open source tooling to allow people to very easily integrate with Shade Protocol, and this is a TypeScript SDK, and basically it provides some really good documentation. There's a website that we put out, shadejs.dev, which you can check out. But it explains all the various queries and things that you need to make in order to understand the data that's running behind Shade Protocol, and the various things like how to make a swap, for example. We added some additional features like an example router, so you can come in and know how to interact with multiple different pools to swap through and make transactions. And this also included the first time that we've open sourced our asymmetric concentrated liquidity curve math. So that's also really exciting to allow people to understand a little bit better how that works and be able to simulate what the inputs and outputs of swaps are. But at the end of the day, we really hope that people are able to use this library in their projects and create layers on top of what we built, and just easily integrate, whether that's DEX aggregators, or whatever it may be. The current focus has been specifically around swap, but we will be continuing to maintain and extend that to all the various primitives as we build it out. So yeah, that's just a little bit about that.
Nice, yeah, and I, if I'm not mistaken, I know we have a few different interfaces and projects that have utilized Shade.js to improve their utility. I think Secret Dashboard has integrated some of the things from Shade.js, I think in particular batch queries. And I know Fina is integrating or utilizing Shade.js to be able to help out with providing the top up functionality for the Fina card for Silk. So it's really cool to see this open source library already being utilized for existing projects, and then also the utilization of those for upcoming projects in the near future. And I think we all expect that number of projects that utilize it to grow. So really excited to see how that adoption of this continues. If I don't know if you've checked GitHub recently, but I think it was like a week or so after we launched Shade.js, there were like a hundred, more than 100 forks or downloads of that library, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if
Yeah, within the first like week or two, we had several hundred downloads. I just checked again on NPM. It looks like we're getting about 50 weekly downloads consistently. So that's exciting to me, and I really didn't expect that many people to be using that at this point. So yeah, that's great.
Yeah, that's really awesome. Now I want to go ahead and take a minute to shift it over to Mo to talk about our new API, new backend that we're going to be launching here soon, and talking about maybe just touching on like how what sort of things this new API is going to unlock for us relative to the services that we used previously. You want to give us a little bit of color there, Mo?
Yeah, definitely right. So talking about the API, we have been working on it for a few months now. Um, After the initial launch of the application, when we built our first version, it was more so suited for the front end, just to read data. But like we very fast realized that we had growing demands for a lot of things that we want to build out in toolings and servicings, not to mention integrations, and that's one of the things we want to focus in 2024 with analytics and integrations that we want to look at. So this API is going to be helping us build those solutions super fast and seamlessly. And that's the whole objective of this project. And able to like expand to new utilities, new endpoints, new requirements will be far more seamless. So that's like the particular reason API v2 has been launched. Pretty much the front end users may not see the impact immediately, but like on a system side, on a side where the project works with multiple other teams, this is going to become far more seamless. Also will give us access to more data feeds out there, integrate with multiple exchanges, external partners that want to use Shade Swap, want to use Shade feeds, including the pricing of Silk and Shade Land. The risk factors and parameters on chain should be able to serve to the API externally as well. So that's like the key focus. So we're pretty close to, we've already launched like a testing version here and there. We're still working on like fine tuning that furthermore. And obviously hardening it through January so we can work towards a launch. So most likely when we see our next test net come around with the next primitive that we're launching, we'll most likely see the API in play behind the scenes. And hopefully that will be something where we can test it out, stress test it as well before we go to production with that. So excited about the API v2 and the possibilities that come with that, because that's just going to unblock our team as well as Shade Protocol as a whole to function and work with the wider ecosystem.
Yeah, I like the point you added there about as we get closer to this next incentivized testnet, we'll see the rollout of this on mainnet. Really excited. Anytime I hear incentivized testnet, people should think like there's a new application launching and there's going to be stuff to play with. So it's really exciting from our side because we're users of our own applications, but also really excited for people to be able to get their hands on new products that allow them to to do new things with their assets in private DeFi. So appreciate that update, Mo. I know we've been chomping at the bit internally to see this get on testnet, to see this get on mainnet. So I think this is going to be like a bit of a burden off of our shoulders to some degree, but it's also like, all right, now the gates are kind of wide open to where like we can really go full speed at upgrading and improving our existing apps and new apps that are coming. So now I want to go ahead and kick it to Bree just to kind of round this out to talk about user acquisition. Bree, I know you joined the team. Like you weren't contributing to Shade Protocol for the full year, and so you got to see maybe only a portion of let's say the progress that we've made this year. But going into I guess looking back at 2023 and how we've been able to interact with users, how we've been able to retain users, how we're interacting with people on social media, building relationships not only with users but other teams as well. Curious if you have any insights that you'd want to share about like what activity we've seen over the past like 6 months or so, and then kind of what we're looking forward to do in 2024 as far as like engaging with users and continuing to build our community.
Yeah, definitely. So we are projected to grow by 20% next year. So we obviously have a huge amount of users coming to our platform, and that's just based off of what we've seen in Q4. So that's really exciting. But with that, we need to be able to have the educational support for the novice users, new users that are coming to Shade for the first time. So we are revamping a lot of our educational materials, but preparing for things that will bring more people over. So with the user acquisition campaign, we are going to be using a couple of influencers as well as Shade Spartans and other people that use Shade to bring new users. We also will probably, most likely, have a huge a huge giveaway. Let's talk about like thousands of dollars coming over to people that can bridge any asset into Shade through Secret Network. And then I guess after that, the biggest news that we have coming out is that the Shade team, all of us, are coming to ETH Denver, and we are going to be be sending out a couple of VIP invites via our marketing email platform. So make sure you're on our email list. But these VIP invites will get you into the Shade House. So we hope everybody is able to come to ETH Denver and meet the whole team. We look forward to connecting with everyone in our community. But yeah, we're looking forward to a huge 2024 with all of our new users, our current users, and just beefing up for big growth.
Really appreciate it, Bree. Yeah, I'm very excited to see the rollout of these upcoming engagement plans that we've got, and very excited to be able to meet up with other Cosmos builders and Ethereum builders and users in Denver for ETH Denver. So that's going to be a really, really cool event. We'll be announcing more stuff about this event in the near future. So make sure to.
I'm just picturing us walking around with laptops with app.shadeprotocol.io open.
Yeah, well, this year privacy luckily has the narrative for privacy has started to proliferate a little bit more. So hopefully we're not going to be the only, actually, I know we won't be the only teams focused on privacy there, because the UPA is going to be present at ETH Denver. So hopefully we'll see Shade Protocol get some nice presence and exposure to other participants in the UPA. Anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, it's UPA is the Universal Privacy Alliance. It's a group of very privacy focused projects in the Web3 space looking to continue fighting for the rights of privacy and building out privacy preserving solutions. So really excited to have Shade Protocol be able to contribute to those efforts as well, outside of just building our technology that we're doing. So now that we've given I think it's been pretty comprehensive recap of 2023, I have a question for each of you guys here, and this is how we're going to kind of close it out. Firstly, I'm curious, what do you guys think, from your perspective, have been the biggest wins of 2023 for Shade Protocol? And then what are you looking forward to most in 2024? I know a lot of the stuff we planned is like mostly Q1, Q2, 2024. A lot of the stuff, once you get to Q3, Q4, it starts becoming a little bit more of, I'd say guesswork's not the right answer, but just like being able to guarantee timing for things is a little bit more iffy. But don't let that distract you guys. What do you think have been the biggest wins in 2023, and then what are you most looking forward to in 2024? I don't know if anyone wants to kick this off.
I can kick us off here.
All right.
I really have two things. The first one is Silk as a concept is real. It's live. Like we spent so much time dreaming about it as a concept, and to see it come to life and to function and be stress tested and to perform under that stress is insane. Like Silk has appreciated in value against the dollar. Right now it's sitting at 1.085. I think when it started, it was at $1.05, right? So like the mission of Silk of capturing structural changes in broader global markets in a way that protects your purchasing power. As of this moment, 6 months into the journey with this very small data set is standing strong and is standing true. Additionally, there was a moment where it was under peg for a while and the protocol activated protocol redemptions, which is a stability mechanism, and it worked perfectly. It worked beautifully. It worked so well, it was honestly shocking. So I'm so proud of all the building and all the dreaming actually being real and actually performing in real time. Like I never want to take that for granted. Every day that ticks by, it's like it's out there. It's insane, and it's nothing. No one has built something like Silk. It is one of a kind. It is one of a kind, and will continue to be one of a kind in the sense that it was first, and it was ambitious and trailblazed in that sense. I think the second thing that I think was the oh, I have a cat meowing. Give me a sec. Someone else can go. I'll circle back to my second.
I'll go. I think mostly because I got to be a part of it, but it was really cool that we now have Ethereum brought over to Shade. So I was part of that campaign. It was a lot of fun to work with Secret Network on it. And I think that that's helped bring new users, going back to my user acquisition campaign. But for 2024, also, I'm looking forward to what happens with the perpetual swaps because I also got to work on that. So can't wait to see what comes out of that. I know that's pushing closer to next year around this time, maybe a little sooner, but looking forward to that.
I can go next. As a developer, I find it really, really difficult to come up with a single win because we just shipped so many things throughout the last year. And I know like all the blood, sweat, and tears that went into every single one of those launches, both big ones and small ones. So everything feels like a win. But I think one thing I'm personally kind of proud of was I think everything that we did around support of MetaMask, being the first in Cosmos to actually have MetaMask support inside of our app, as well as the things we did for the ETH onboarding with our bridge, integration with Axelar, and creating a good process around that, I think was a pretty big win. And then looking forward to next year, I think what I'm most excited for. So early this year, we shipped a lot of products with Shade Swap and Silk and all that stuff, and from that point on, sometimes it may not have felt like we were shipping a lot of new things because there was just so much infrastructure that we were doing behind the scenes to continue to improve what we had already built. So I'm looking forward to getting back into shipping mode where we're producing new products with the money market and stuff that we've been working on with perpetual swaps and liquidity order book and a lot of this type of thing. So that's what I'm excited about.
Yeah, I'll go here next, and I guess I have multiple things as well, but the two topmost things. Well, going first, I'm your Ricardo's thoughts, by the way. Silk, getting from concept to reality has been the thing. So that's why I was laughing earlier when Curry read my mind. I was like, oh, you just read my mind, Curry. But that is the exact terms I would use to describe, and I think that's the most successful part of 2023 as a whole. I know Shade Protocol is bigger than Silk. We are like a whole DeFi ecosystem, but Silk has been always the standing pillar, the concrete pillar that has been, that is using the core principles to build DeFi around it. So that's, I think, the topmost of my list as well. And then I think the second part is more so a little bit personal, as well as like a little bit towards like growth. I guess it's more so about like, how we have evolved as a team, how we are coming to meet new people across that board, as well as like, how we are change across the whole bear market. It has been a learning experience, and that's something, I've taken many lessons from. But I think that exact part where, we are growing is being something that's been very important to this aspect of 2023 really. But looking into 2024, I think one of the key things really I am interested in is the new launch of new primitives. But more than the primitives itself, I think I'm more interested in the use of Silk that's going to go live at 2024, because let's not lose track that all the primitives, all the products we launch are for the utility of DeFi users and DeFi users with Silk. So, I think the top most of my list, like early this year, next year, is going to be Fina debit card. I can't wait to go and like use the card and swipe for like a cup of coffee, and actually do that live. That would be like the good things to do for sure. So I'm excited for that, and I think that's the top of my 2024 list for sure. But then there's more than that. So, but I'll leave that to there. I know Corey and Red still have to go there. So, it's awesome to look forward to 2024 here, guys.
Yeah, I'll give my thoughts here. I would say the biggest wins from my perspective for 2023 were the amount of successful firsts that Shade Protocol accomplished. And we actually have quite a few under our belt now. If you go all the way back to the airdrop, I believe we were the first like multi-chain airdrop that had existed at the time. But looking maybe specifically about 2023, we launched Silk, which was the first private stablecoin pegged to basket of currencies and commodities. We launched ShadeSwap, which was the first implementation of asymmetric concentrated liquidity. We launched, well, Bonds was in 2022, but that was first Bonds primitive in the Cosmos. Again, 2022, we launched Stake Secret, which was the first private liquid staking derivative in crypto. In 2023, we launched MetaMask support, which we were the first non-EVM DApp in the Cosmos to offer native integration for MetaMask. And I know there's a few others under that belt that I'm probably blanking on right now. But I'm just incredibly proud to be a part of a team that is trying to move fast and break things, if that makes sense. Like constantly out there trying to push the boundaries of what's possible. We want to be extremely competitive with all DeFi applications out there, regardless of the privacy aspect. And so, for those out there who are secret network builders, you recognize some of the difficulties that are involved with building private DeFi. But from our perspective, from my perspective, I'm just incredibly proud of the work that we've done and the success that we've seen thus far. And I know we're going to continue to go up from here. But the thing that I'm probably most excited for in 2024, and I think this is just a culmination of all of the various successes we have around the application suite, is that I'm excited to see the Meta engine get to the point where our fees exceed that of emissions we're currently emitting for various protocols. And at that point, we are like net sustainable, so to speak. So I think that's going to be a really big milestone for us to kind of celebrate when we hit that threshold. I don't have the numbers in front of me right now. I want to say we're like 40% of the way there, roughly, right now. Just like off the top of my head calculation. But with the introduction of this upcoming applications like private money market, with FINA, with various different arbitrage solutions that we're looking to launch. There's a lot of room for revenue growth, and just with the changing tides of the market, I think that there's a lot of potential for us to reach that sustainability quicker than we probably imagined. So that's what I'm really excited for in 2024. Carter, I don't know if you had anything you wanted to follow up before you had to stop there.
Yeah, the cat. The other win I was gonna say from 2023 before I talk about 2024 was having $20 million plus worth of TVL. It's like that's represents a lot of trust that people are putting in the platform. Those are thousands of normal people that could put their money anywhere, and they're trusting the smart contracts and the infrastructure we built to protect their money and be able to do these unique things. So I think that number is going to continue to grow, and that means the trust in the platform continues to grow, and that's just like kind of mind-blowing. It's also terrifying at the same time, right? In my opinion, the core team goes from being product developers, and eventually the core developers are just going to be a security company. Like we essentially, it's weird in crypto. You actually like you at some point you've built something so valuable, you don't need new features. The security is the greatest feature. Like guaranteeing that security is going to be huge. So my prediction would be like late 2024 and onwards, the focus on security becomes like an obsession. That's essentially what we circle back to. So it's kind of like wrapping up the innovation and the growth phase, and then pivoting back into like just hyper focus on security, which isn't like the most fun approach, but that's to real sustainability comes on the back of like, as we grow, we become a bigger target, and therefore counterintuitively, you're going to have people pushing you to grow faster. And it's actually like the onus is on us to actually do the exact opposite, is to pump the brakes, to be and that's going to be such a hard tension when we hit that hockey stick moment. It's going to go against your gut. Growth. No. Security. Slow down. It's going to be super hard. But I'm excited for that challenge. It's going to be a huge challenge. And so in 2024, separate from that pivot towards being more security focused as a group, and that's not to say we don't currently care about security, it just means that like the scale of money that's poured into security is going to increase exponentially as time goes on. I'm extremely excited for governance. I think people really underestimate the level of stress and strain on core contributors to make key decisions, right? And so the beauty of governance and decentralization is we tap into the wisdom of the village, and we're all making decisions together in a distributed fashion. And so I'm pumped to even make it to signaling proposals. Don't even forget about like sub DAOs and managing specific transactions. We will get there, right? That's going to be like the 5-10 year rollout of governance becoming more and more mature. But turning this into a truly distributed and decentralized protocol that's in the hands of the community has always been the dream, because at the end of the day, I should be able to die tomorrow. Mohammed should be able to, everyone on this call should be able to die tomorrow, and Shade should be able to go on. It's really harsh, right? But like, you're not decentralized until all the core contributors can die and the story goes on without them. I know Red's like, this is so harsh and brutal, but like, that's what governance can get us. That's a really dark analogy. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to just mute myself now.
No, I mean, you're just, you're sharing the gravity of the situation. Like Silk, Shade, everything we built is bigger than us, right? And so removing central points of failure is naturally going to be one of the bigger moments, kind of in your history or your story. When people start really having a lot more say and control in the direction and growth of the protocol. So I'm just laughing because I like dark humor, so I find it slightly funny. But no, what you're saying is very true, and that was actually the one thing I didn't touch on that I was hoping you would, is that governance going live in 2024 is also going to be a really, really important milestone for us as we really look to, let's say, formally, start handing the keys over to, like handing the keys over to the community to be able to make decisions and start controlling the direction of the protocol. So definitely echo what you're saying there. The governance is going to be a really big part of 2024.
One last mini rant, because I think Austin, you said something about there's been like so much blood, sweat, and tears that have gone on behind the scenes. I just want to say to anyone listening to this as a community member, nothing comes easy. Like when you're building on a privacy network, like if the core contributors stood still, everything stands still, right? Like it's not like all these different primitives and teams. It's like you have to claw your way to like pulling every single piece of the puzzle together. It's so much harder than building on a transparent blockchain. And so it's like just the tenacity of the people in the room is just, it has my utmost respect. And there are literally thousands of hours that will go unseen and unnoticed, but it's just like, I picture us like on the battlefield, just like army crawling, you know, maybe 2 shots in the butt, just dragging along. We just keep moving forward. We just keep moving forward. And yeah, 2024, it's just continuing that army crawl. We're coming for you. We're coming for you. More dark humor. Woo!
Well, with that, I think we can officially wrap this up. This has been a great Dev Roundtable, kind of a retrospective look at 2023 and kind of giving an idea of what we're really excited about in 2024. Inevitably, there will be new things that end up being introduced where we're like, hey, this is a really great use case to be able to provide, or like maybe we can, start going down this direction, incorporate other groups for POL deals, incorporate other integrations or integrate other grant recipients. But I think this is a pretty good look at what people should expect in the early part of 2024. And as always, following us on social media, being a part of the community, joining our Telegram, our Discord is going to be by far the best way to stay up to date with all the developments that we've got going on. It's the best way to get any questions answered, to interact with the community, to find out, find other people who, have similar interests to you. One of the other coolest things for 2023 is really see this growth in our community of people who really value privacy. Like we've got a really interesting spectrum of individuals that utilize our products. There are some people who are like really hardcore privacy maxis where like I don't use anything else other than Shade products or Monero or whatever the case may be. And we've got some people who just recognize the value, like if you're trading large amounts of assets or you're trying to open up really large loans, like recognizing the value that privacy provides for these DeFi interactions. So it's been really cool to see our community organically grow just because people are realizing what you can do with private DeFi that you can't really do with public DeFi. So really excited to see that community grow, really excited to see that spectrum continue to shift and see, where people's interests lie on the privacy spectrum. But just want to thank everyone for joining us today. Thank you, Mohammed, Bree, Carter, Austin, for joining this roundtable today. It's been some great insights shared. And I think with that, we can officially wrap it up. Hope everyone listening has a great rest of the day. Hope you all have a great holiday season if you're celebrating. If not, hope you enjoy the end of your year regardless. With that, we'll go ahead and close it out. Thank you guys. Hope you have a great rest of the day.